This is your Ridic video for Kenichi, the Midas Disciple, episode 48, 49, and 50, the final 3 episodes of Kenichi. If there is going to be a season 2, I'm not sure. But for now, click in the link in the description below to go watch my reaction to it, and then come back here to see my full thoughts and ideas and theories about this series and what might come in the OVAs and that kind of thing. So click away now or be spoiled as to what happened in these episodes. Okay, so joining me as always is Try, and he has graced us with the best picture of this episode, which I love absolute. Absolute love. Is the Shigure moment when Kenichi was imitating her. Is hilarious. I really love it. There probably won't be a season 2. I hope for a reboot one day. That would be cool. It would be really cool. But waiting for us next week and the weeks to come for, I'm not sure how many weeks entirely, but we're going to do the OVAs next, which should be very, very cool. I'm told by Try and others as well that it continues the story from where this left off, that kind of thing. And so Try yes is probably 3 to 4 weeks. So that's really cool. So yeah, I'm super pumped to see the OVAs and everything like that. So what am I doing? Instead of doing like a whole entire series wrap up, since we're not done yet, like this is gonna be kind of like a theory of what might happen next, sort of like review kind of thing. But ultimately, I want to talk about these episodes first, and then we'll get into the theorizing about what happens next. So it was really cool to see Kenichi actually go toe to toe with Odin 1-to-1 effectively. Like they were straight like 1-to-1. Odin had a couple 1-ups on him at the beginning, but Kenichi kind of learned how to overcome it and find ways around it. And then it shifted again where Kenichi was the one ahead a little bit, and then back to Odin, and back to Kenichi, and back to Odin, and back to Kenichi kind of thing. Like in typical Kenichi fashion, that kind of just it happened back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until like the very end where like it was too much for Odin to handle when he went yin yang mode or whatever to call it. I don't remember the actual name that they said, but is basically combining 2 martial art techniques into one, which like rips your body apart, like basically from the inside out, like small explosions happening inside your body. Combine his sai, and his yeah, that you can read that that it's probably say and do. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, he combined those 2 styles into one, and the sage, the great sage, he was watching over. My theory is like he was the one who did it first, and that's what made him in a way turn bad. Where the other masters kind of saw him do it, and they know the downsides of it. And so when the sage did it, this is my theory. When the sage did it in training or whatever, like the masters saw that and were like, "We can't train you anymore," or kind of like that. Or the sage just like said like, "I don't need you anymore. Like I can do it myself," and then he like leaves the whole dojo kind of thing. That's kind of like what I'm thinking of what happened with the sage and why the masters don't really like him and his way of his mindset and that kind of thing, because they were saying how this sort of ability messes with your mind more so than your body. Like it messes with your body like for like hardcore, but like it messes with your mind like more so. So I would love to know like backstory wise, like if they do show like an OVA version of it, like a flashback moment, like to like what the sage was like when he was training with the masters and all kind of stuff. Like I would love to know that. But yeah, it was a cool group of episodes. It was really cool to see Odin and Kenichi. I mean, it was a solid 3 episodes of the fight, and that was awesome. I love that. Like I said, a lot of back and forth with each other. My absolutely favorite moment was when Kenichi was imitating the masters to get the upper hand, because Odin took off his glasses, which allowed him to do the whole his inner eye, I think they called it, where he can see Kenichi's movements and predict them, and kind of he knows his rhythm and he can block all of his attacks like very easily. But when Kenichi started imitating all of the masters, that's when he got the upper hand in the fight and he started kicking ass basically. So freaking funny. It was so good. He imitating them so much. Is the the person who did Kenichi's voiceover, whatever, the voice actor for Kenichi, did he do all the voices for the imitations? Like, was that him? Like, do we know if that was like genuinely the voice actor, or was that just like the other voice actors for the masters sort of doing like in a way like a Kenichi voice to make it sound like it was like more so them, but like in a Kenichi kind of sort of way? Because if it was the genuine Kenichi voice actor doing all of the master's voice, that was awesome. Like that was supremely freaking awesome. I think it was Kenichi's voice imitating them. I'm not sure. I could find out. Yeah, that'd be really cool to find out. That'd be very very cool to find out. Um, because either way, it's awesome. Either Kenichi's voice actor did all the imitations himself, or the other, well, minus Shigure, but the other Master's voice actors came back to do like little voices to sound like their character, but more so Kenichi's side character as well to make it sound like he's talking like them, kind of thing. Well, his voice actor does a lot of roles that you never noticed. He is really good at his job. He's very good. Like if that was him, that was amazing voice acting. Because like I didn't even like when he was imitating uh crap. It was for Shigure, he was kind of imitating like her voice pattern, like the way she speaks, like the kind of airy kind of talk, kind of thing, which is really really awesome. But he was let me pull up my cheat sheet here for names because I always forget. I'm bad. I'm sorry. I'll pull up the master's cheat sheet here in a second when it loads properly. There it is. Load properly, please. There we go. Okay, so I have my cheat sheet up. I should have had this up beforehand, but whatever. When he was imitating Apachai, Apachai and Akasame, when he was both occupied, like imitating them, like that was like 1-to-1. Like it was very very close. Um, so I would not be surprised if that was Kenichi's voice actor, imitating the voices there. That'd be cool. I wonder if there is even a way to even find the information because I'm sure, like just in credit wise, it just says Kenichi did the voices for Kenichi. Um, unless you do some kind of like backroom sort of like forum post where like they say like, oh no, these people did that voice kind of thing. I'm not sure. I'm for right now. I'm sticking with Kenichi did the voices for all the Kenichi's voice actor did the voices for all the imitations and everything, which is amazing, 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 amazing. But I absolutely love it. I love all the different styles that he was like imitating. He did Apachai like 1-to-1. Like that was genuine Apachai. Um, I loved how he was doing uh Sakake. Sakake, yeah, Sakake. He was awesome. Like his like imitation of him was like really really great. Um, he didn't do the master, I don't think, did he? I don't remember if he did the imitation of the master. The elder, I should say. Yeah, he didn't do more of that. I was hoping for that. I would have loved to see him do an imitation of the elder. But maybe because he never trained with the elder more so than the elder like attacking him and like learning how to like do a certain technique, the whole bubble thing. Um, so I'm kind of I can understand how he couldn't properly match the elder's movements properly like he's done with the masters because he's trained with them every single day for like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and months and months and months. So like he knows their techniques like inside and out basically. But the elder, it only very rarely do you get to train with him. So understandable. I would have loved to see ultimately more fighting or more training with Shigure, because we never got to see much of training with her, if any. Just a couple of like things here and there, kind of teaching Kenichi how to fight against or dodge weapons, that kind of thing. And fighting the Valkyrie, I think, whatever the yeah the girls. They uh fought against Shigure and she, beat them with that one ladle thing or whatever it was. So we saw a couple moments with Shigure, but I would have loved to see him a little bit more. With Kenichi learning from her and everything. Oh gosh, what else? It was really cool to see all Kenichi's friends and everything come in like to his aid to kind of in a way like fight off Odin's minions while he's dealing with Odin. That was really cool to see that. All the would be enemies that were enemies at one point now become friends to Kenichi, which is really really cool. Um, oh gosh, what else? What else? What else? What else? It was really cool to see the fight though. There's a lot of cool scenes, a lot of visually like really awesome scenes that happened. It was really interesting to actually see the sage like all of a sudden come in to try to stop the fight, or not stop the fight, but kind of intervene in the fight at the near the very end. And then the masters just come in and just like huddle around him basically, and it was like, "Where are you going?" Kind of like it was very funny. Um, so yeah, ultimately I want to know more about the sage and his backstory and why the masters dislike him so much and everything. Ultimately, it's because of his attitude, probably, or his way of thinking, that kind of made him drop or be dropped as a disciple for the dojo. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. So, for OVAs, like what's to come, kind of thing, I can definitely see, maybe like more stuff with Sage. Definitely, I can definitely 100% more Sage stuff. I can definitely see that happening. Maybe like couple OVAs with Sage, and Odin, them two. I can definitely see more training probably, and then additionally some kind of fight to like apply that training, like the show, how they show training montage of Kenichi doing one training technique, and then like 5 minutes later, or whatever, he's in a fight with some guy, and he does that technique to win, kind of thing. Like that's what I'm expecting in the OVAs. Some kind of training exercise, montage thing, like half the episode, whatever, half the OVA, like train, and then cut to a fight or whatever, and he's actually training doing it, or maybe another OVA doing it, kind of thing. So that's kind of what I'm expecting from that. More Miyu stuff probably. Love triangle stuff. I would have to assume it's OVAs, so it's kind of like the gloves are off, like they can do whatever they want. So I'm expecting some fan service. Um, Most definitely expecting some fan service, whether it be like hardcore fan service or whatever. But I am expecting some fan service. Yeah, it's pretty light. Yeah, um, I am hardcore expecting fan service. Because OVAs are always like the gloves are off, like let's just do it kind of thing. It's not on TV. They can do whatever they want. Um, Minus it being like straight hentai, like and so I hopefully it's not that like straight hentai, but like yeah, I don't know. I'm just always worried I have to blur something. Um, I would hate to blur something. Like there was a bits with when I was doing reactions to Gurren Lagann, where it was like I was like very close to like being like I have to blur this kind of thing because it was a pretty big fan service with the guys with the bathhouse. If you know what I'm talking about, try. Anyways, OVA wise, we have 11, right? Do we have 11? Is that confirmed like 11? Okay, back. Yes, yes. Okay, God. 11. Okay, thank you. My microphone cut out like the moment I asked that question. Um, yeah, so there's gonna be 11 OVAs. Probably about 3 to 4 weeks. So that should be exciting. Like I said in my reaction, there's going to be a poll starting in the next 2 weeks for the show to replace Kenichi. Also a poll next week for or it's right now as you're watching this on YouTube, the poll is already up for my one shot series. There's a poll up right now on Patreon. Uh, mild nudity. Oh God, God damn it. All right. Well, if it's really bad, I mean, I don't know. If if all comes to worst, I just have to do a disclaimer at the beginning of the redirect. Like that's gonna be probably what I have to do. I'll be fine. Okay. I mean, let's hope. Anyways, what was I saying? um, yes. So right now, currently on Patreon, the one shot poll is up. Where you can vote for the next two one shots that I'll do on Patreon, and 1 month later for YouTube and everything. And next week, this upcoming Wednesday is when the new poll for the show to replace Hunter x Hunter will be. And I'll do a maybe an update video to kind of remind everybody if they don't see this video. But there's gonna be like three polls back to back to back every week, basically one a week, one this week, one next week, one the week after that, like back to back to back to pick up these like shows because they all are starting literally at the same time. Like all these shows are stopping at the same time. Like Hunter x Hunter is stopping very, very, very soon. Um, Kenichi's gonna stop in like 4 to 5 weeks or how many it is. And one shot I need to do like next week or whatever it is. So, or 2 weeks from now. Hiccup. So that's why I kind of need like all of these shows. Like I need to know which shows are which so I can continue on the whole thing. So. Is there anything I missed in these episodes that you would like to talk about? Try. There's going to be a lot going on. A lot going on, yes, indeed. Is there anything that I missed at all in these episodes? I'm trying to think. Yeah. Ultimately, it was just like, I mean, you can sum it down, basically. Like, these 3 episodes were all about fighting with Kenichi and Odin. But you can, like, easily just, like, kind of slam all your thoughts into, like, very minimal amount of time because it was just them fighting back and forth. He had the upper hand, then he had the upper hand, then he had the upper hand, then he had to kind of like it's back and forth. So you can explain it very easily. I guess you talk about the ending of the fight. Yeah, it was pretty cool to see the what the Masters did. But ultimately, yeah, Odin's body succumbed uh, to the power of like that like process going through his body or whatever. And he couldn't move anymore, and Kenichi just went ham, just going like, blah, 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 just like every possible like attack he can do. He was going straight for him. He had like all this kind of pent up like anger, not anger, but like power kind of thing building up within him. The Masters vented an explosion into the sky. Yeah, that was very cool. Just with their sure fists and such. But yeah, so I full on was expecting Odin to die there, like 100%. Like the way he was on the ground, I guess on the ground, but like on the roof, and then the explosion happened underneath him. Like I for real thought he died there. Like there was no denying that I thought he died there. Or he might have died when he let go of the bar kind of thing to fall into explosion. But luckily, I guess his master showed up to save him, whatever, for another time kind of thing. But yeah, so the explosion happened. All the masters came in to help out, venting the explosion upward. Who was it that ripped open? I think it was Apachai that ripped open the roof. I think Shigure and Sakaki went in and attacked one way. Kensei went another way, and Akasame went another way, and they call it all like attacked like in single directions, whatever, venting it all upward. I think it was Apachai that ripped open the hole in the roof to do the venting. But that was really awesome. And I loved how the elder actually grabbed Kenichi and jumped very high in the sky. And he says, "Oops, I jumped too high," kind of thing. Like I loved how that was an accident. Like he accidentally jumped too high in the sky. Like it's hilarious that that's a thing. But the outro was very, very cool. for the finale episode, basically, where we got to see kind of like a recap of the whole series, basically all the training sessions and where we started from and where we're at now, kind of thing. It was really interesting to know more about Odin and the pin and like what it meant to him and everything. Um, I feel like they really didn't need to hide the fact that Odin kind of told Miyu that he was the one that blew the whistle. Like that kind of small. Like I understand like that. Like it. That's what pushed Odin to be who he is now. Because he wanted to become better. He wanted to become all this, this greater like fighter. But I feel like that like small information like didn't need to be hidden until like now. Like I don't know. It seems weird. But it was a cool explanation, like how he did it, and him going back to the place trying to get another pin. After their fight, after he lost the fight, to Kenichi in the park, he went back to go get another one, but he couldn't. It didn't work for him because he did lose. So he ended up keeping like this kind of like grudgy, kind of like dirty pin or whatever. Um, that unforgivable thing Kenichi did was a little bit of a letdown. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was very, very much of a letdown. Um, like the unforgettable thing was that Odin gave him the pin, then he gave the pin, he gave the cat pin to Kenichi. Kenichi gave the cat pin to Miyu, and then Miyu gave the yin yang pin to Kenichi for when he earned it or whatever, he traded whatever. And then Odin wanted the pin, and then they fought over it. Odin lost, and then went back to try to get the same pin again, using all of, I don't know how much money he wasted on that thing to try to get that, but he said all night. Um, but didn't get the pin he finally got the pin that he wanted, but it wasn't worth it because he lost in the end. But yeah, it's the unforgettable thing. Like it's he's such a crybaby. At the end of the day, like he didn't want the cat pin, so he gave it to Kenichi. Kenichi then traded it for another pin, and then he wanted the pin that he traded for. like, it's so dumb. Like I don't know. Um, I don't know. Ultimately, I feel like it was mostly for Miyu more than anything. Um, he liked, or they obviously they both liked what Miyu did. Like they kind of had a crush on her kind of thing for what she did with the bullies, or whatever they want to call them, the people who tried to rob the store or beat the store up or whatever. Um, Mia went in there and dealt with them, and the boys saw that, and they both kind of had a crush on her because of seeing what she can do. Um, Kenichi didn't really, or you know, being Kenichi doesn't really matter one bit or another what he's doing. Um, but with Odin, he saw that as like, I need to do this. I need to become a fighter as well be just like her kind of thing. So their paths split from that point. And yeah, ultimately the unforgettable thing or the unforgivable thing was not the greatest thing that I could have assumed it might have been. Like I full on thought it was something way greater than that. Like so it yeah, I mean, I guess in the long run, we already kind of knew what the unforgivable thing was from the start of that kind of when we first learned who Odin was, like the kids' version of him. Um, so I don't know. I agree. I agree. It is pretty much a letdown. Um, I think the unforgivable thing was after their fight. Kenichi said something like, "Let's just say, oh, that's right, right, yeah." Been a long time since I've seen it. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because like they were fighting in the park, and then Kenichi won because, well, Odin says he lost because Kenichi was bigger than him, um, and that Kenichi got up afterwards, gave him a hand and said, "Let's just say you won," kind of thing, and Odin saw that as like, I didn't earn it kind of thing, so why should I have it kind of thing. And then that's why he went to go back to get another pin. But once he got it, he just kind of realized it's not the same pin that the one that Kenichi has, because Kenichi won that pin fair and square with the fist fight or whatever you want to call it, brawl, and the one that he got in the that night or whatever is not the same one. Like it's a different one. He didn't earn it like Kenichi did. Um, but again, it boils down to him giving the cat badge to Kenichi. Kenichi then trading that cat badge for the yin yang badge with Miyu, and then him just being jealous that he got the badge instead of him, and then it just escalated from there. like if that moment of him giving the badge to Miyu never happened, this whole thing, this whole series wouldn't even be a thing. Like maybe to some degree, Kenichi might become like a disciple like this, but Odin would never be like this kind of like hell bent like kid trying to like gain ultimate power kind of thing if Kenichi never traded the pin to Miyu. Again, that's also kind of, well, I mean, if that never happened, then Miyu wouldn't even know who Kenichi was. So maybe he wouldn't even be able to say, I don't know, time manipulation stuff. It's a good point. All the brutal fights that happen were the result of a cheap plastic pin. Yes. One jealous act that he felt he wanted the pin more than Kenichi, and that was it. That was the linchpin. That was the act that set forth his destiny to to become this like evil kind of like person or something. Yeah. So overall, I think it was a good ending. A little abrupt to the end, I guess, a little bit, because it was like fight, and then like end explosion credits. Like it was just like it was kind of very quick at the very end, with a couple bits with like backstory things. But again, like we were saying in the chat, and well, me and Tri was anyways, a bit of a letdown moment with like the true backstory behind it. But overall, I enjoyed the ending, and like I said, there are OVAs to kind of continue the story, add more to it. So I am excited for that. So look out for that next week. Yeah, about 3 or 4 weeks left of OVAs and such, and I'm still deciding what to do with the manga. I said in my reaction try, I haven't talked to you about this off camera, but I was also thinking maybe doing a live stream of me reading the manga, but I'm not sure on that exactly yet. That was kind of just an idea I had in my head, so we'll talk off camera about what to do. First manga reaction, yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and tune in next week, like I said, for some OVAs and such. And once again, sorry for my headphone cutting out and such. If you saw my reaction at the very beginning, you know why. And I'm slowly getting it fixed in the next couple of days, that kind of thing. So hopefully by next week, all is well and done and everything like that. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week for some more Kenichi, the mightiest disciple. Take care, everybody.